Hello, friends and family. Today's short story is My Silver Coin. Let's begin. You're not listening to a word I say, are you? The woman's voice was sharp, cutting through the din of the coffee shop. She slammed her hand down on the table, making the silver coins sitting there jump. Her companion, a young man with a look of distraction etched on his face, startled at the sudden movement. "What? Oh, sorry, I was just..." He trailed off, glancing down at his phone again. The woman leaned in, her eyes narrowing. "I said, you need to focus. This isn't just any coin." She picked up the silver piece, rolling it between her thumb and forefinger. The light from the pendant above the table danced across its surface, revealing intricate etchings. "This is your great-grandfather's lucky coin. It's been passed down through the generations. It's part of our family's legacy." The young man looked up, finally giving her his full attention. "Yeah, I know," he mumbled, "but it's just a coin." "Just a coin?" she echoed, incredulous. "It's said to bring good fortune to whoever holds it. It's seen wars, depressions, and even the birth of your mother. It's a symbol of strength and resilience." She placed the coin in his hand, her expression softening as she watched his fingers close around it. "Look at the etchings, the detail. Can you feel the history in it?" The young man examined the coin more closely, his thumb tracing the faded lines. It was indeed beautiful, but he remained unconvinced of its mystical powers. "I don't get why it's such a big deal," he said, dropping it into his pocket with a jingle. The woman sighed, her eyes misting over. "You will," she said, her voice now gentle. "Whenever you're feeling lost, or like everything's against you, take it out and remember where it came from. It's not just a good luck charm. It's a piece of your ancestors, a reminder of the people who faced challenges and never gave up." Days passed, and the young man, let's call him Alex, went about his life as usual. The silver coin, a forgotten weight in his pocket. Work was a grind, his boss a constant thorn in his side, and his love life was as bland as the office coffee. The coin remained untouched, a silent spectator to his mundane existence. One rainy evening, Alex found himself stuck in traffic on the way home, his car's wipers slapping rhythmically against the windshield. He felt the familiar frustration building up, his grip tightening on the steering wheel. That's when his hand brushed against the cool metal of the coin in his pocket. On a whim, he pulled it out, the silver glinting in the dim light of the car's cabin. Raindrops pattered against the window as he studied the intricate patterns etched into the surface. The coin was heavier than he remembered, feeling almost alive in his palm. He rolled it over his fingers, feeling the smoothness of the worn edges, the coolness of the metal, a stark contrast to the warmth of his skin. As he did so, a strange calm washed over him. His grip on the steering wheel loosened, and his breathing slowed. The traffic no longer felt like an insurmountable barrier, but a temporary pause in his journey. He thought of his great-grandfather, the stories his mother had told him of a man who'd weathered storms much fiercer than this one. Alex's thumb rubbed the talisman, the rhythmic motion soothing his racing thoughts. He wondered what kind of luck this coin had brought to his ancestors. Did they feel its warmth during moments of despair, its silent encouragement whispering in the face of adversity? The coin's presence was a comfort, a tangible link to the past that grounded him in the present. The rain grew heavier, the droplets on the window merging into a blurred veil. His eyes followed a solitary figure hurrying down the sidewalk, hunched against the downpour. As the person passed under a streetlight, he saw that it was an old woman, her shopping bags threatening to split from the weight of her soaked groceries. Without thinking, Alex made a split-second decision. He pulled over to the side of the road and rolled down the window. "Ma'am, do you need a ride?" he called out, the rain misting his face. The woman looked up, surprised. She was soaked through, her hair plastered to her cheeks. She hesitated for a moment before nodding and shuffling towards the car. Alex helped her in, the weight of her bags almost pulling him out of the car. He could feel the coldness of her hand, the tremble of her body as she closed the door behind her. "Thank you," she said, her voice quivering with a mix of relief and exhaustion. She placed the bags at her feet, her eyes meeting Alex's in the rearview mirror. Alex nodded, feeling a sense of purpose that had been missing all day. He started the car and merged back into the flow of traffic, the windshield wipers swiping at the relentless rain. "Where to?" he asked, his eyes on the road ahead. The old woman gave him an address not too far from his own apartment. As they drove, the silence between them was filled with the steady thump of the rain and the swish of the wipers. Alex felt the coin in his pocket, the warmth of it seeming to spread through his body. It was as if the coin had chosen this moment to remind him of its power, of the legacy it carried. When they arrived, she thanked him again, her voice filled with genuine gratitude. He helped her with the groceries, feeling the weight of the world momentarily lift from his shoulders as he carried them up the steps to her small apartment. The dingy hallway was lined with peeling wallpaper, and the smell of dampness hung in the air, but the warm glow from her open door was inviting. "Thank you," she said, fumbling with the keys. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Alex smiled, the simple act of kindness filling him with a warmth that the coin couldn't match. "It's no trouble, really." As they stepped into the apartment, the old woman's eyes lit up, scanning the small, cluttered room as if it were a treasure trove. She bustled around, placing the groceries on the kitchen counter and shaking the rain from her coat. "You're a good soul," she said, turning to face him. "My name is Edna. Would you like some tea?" Alex hesitated, his mind still reeling from the sudden change in his evening's trajectory. But something about the warmth in Edna's eyes made him nod. "Sure, that sounds nice." Her apartment was a quaint cocoon of memories, the walls lined with faded photographs and shelves filled with dusty knickknacks that told tales of a life well lived. The rain outside pattered a comforting lullaby as she put the kettle on. Edna shuffled through a drawer and pulled out a small chipped teapot with a floral design that matched the pattern of the worn tablecloth. She gestured for him to sit at the round kitchen table, the chair's legs scraping against the linoleum floor. The water began to boil, the steam curling into the air like whispers from a forgotten time. Edna placed two mismatched teacups in front of him and sat down heavily opposite, her eyes, never leaving the coin, still clutched in his hand. "Your great-grandfather," she said. "He must have been quite a man." Alex looked up, surprised. "How did you know?" Edna's smile grew wider. "Call it an old woman's intuition," she said, her eyes twinkling. "But I can see the way you hold it, the way it comforts you. That coin has seen a lot, and it's chosen to stay with you. It has a story to tell." Alex sat down, placing the coin on the table between them. "You believe in its luck?" Edna chuckled, her eyes never leaving the coin. "I believe in the stories it holds, the love and strength it's been a silent witness to." She poured the tea, the amber liquid swirling into the cups. "Every object has a soul, a history that speaks to us if we're willing to listen. Your coin is like a diary of your family's resilience." Alex took a sip of the tea, the warmth seeping into his chest and dispelling the last vestiges of his skepticism. The room was quiet, save for the rain's rhythmic serenade. He felt an inexplicable bond with Edna, this stranger he'd offered a ride to in a moment of spontaneous kindness. "Tell me about him," Edna said, her voice a gentle coax. "Your great-grandfather." Alex felt a swell of emotion, the coin's warmth seemingly growing in his palm. He began to recount the stories his mother had shared, of a man who'd crossed oceans and conquered hardships, all the while carrying the coin as a talisman. The tales were filled with adventure and perseverance, painting a picture of a life much richer and more meaningful than his own. Edna listened intently, her eyes shimmering with a knowing smile. "Ah, yes," she murmured. "The coin has seen much. It's a silent guardian, isn't it?" Alex nodded, his thumb still caressing the coin's edge. "My mom said it brought him home from the war, that it was with him when he met my great-grandmother." Edna leaned in, her eyes bright with curiosity. "And what do you think it's brought you?" Alex thought for a moment, the rain's tempo increasing outside. "I don't know," he said finally. "I've never really needed luck before." Edna's smile grew wistful. "Luck isn't just about winning the lottery or avoiding trouble. It's about the moments that shape us, the connections we make along the way." Alex took another sip of tea, the warmth spreading through him like a gentle embrace. The room felt cozier, the rain outside a comforting backdrop to their conversation. He studied Edna, her wrinkled skin a map of a life full of experiences, her eyes reflecting a wisdom beyond her years. "You know," she began, her voice soothing as the patter of rain, "luck isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's the little moments, the unexpected kindnesses that mean the most." Alex nodded, the warmth of the tea and the comforting weight of the coin in his pocket combining to create a newfound sense of peace within him. He felt the tension of the day slowly melt away, replaced by a feeling of belonging, of being a part of something greater than himself. Edna reached over and gently took the coin from his hand. She held it up to the light, examining it closely. "You see this?" She pointed to a small, almost imperceptible notch on the edge. "This was from your great-grandfather's pocket watch. He had it made to fit perfectly around the coin, so he could always carry it with him, even in the trenches." Alex leaned in, squinting to see the notch. It was true. It fit snugly around the edge of the coin. He felt a sudden surge of awe for the man he'd only heard stories about, realizing the depth of his connection to this small piece of metal. "He never left it behind," Edna said, her voice filled with admiration. "It's a reminder of the love and hope he carried through the darkest of times. And now, it's found its way to you." Alex took the coin back, the notch feeling almost like a secret handshake between him and his ancestor. He looked into Edna's knowing eyes and felt something shift inside of him. The coin no longer felt like a dusty relic, but a living part of his own narrative, a thread connecting him to a legacy of strength and endurance. The rain outside had slowed to a gentle whisper, and Edna suggested they move into the cozy living room. She cleared a space on the worn couch and gestured for Alex to sit. The air was thick with the scent of cinnamon and old books, and the lamp cast a warm glow over the faded floral wallpaper. Edna took a seat in a rocking chair by the window, her gaze never leaving the coin that now rested in Alex's hand. "You know," she said, her voice a soothing purr, "there's more to that coin than meets the eye." Alex looked at her, intrigued. "What do you mean?" Edna leaned back in her chair, her eyes still fixed on the coin. "It's not just a good luck charm," she began, her voice a soft murmur over the rain's lullaby. "It's a talisman of protection and guidance. It's said to whisper wisdom to those who truly listen." Alex raised an eyebrow. Whispers? Edna nodded, her gaze unwavering. You'll understand when the time is right, she said mysteriously. But for now, just know that it's there for you. The rain had almost stopped, and the occasional droplet tapped against the window like a gentle reminder of the world outside. Alex felt a strange comfort in Edna's words, as if the coin had indeed chosen to reveal itself to him through her. He turned it over in his hand, feeling the weight of its legacy and the warmth of the whispers she spoke of. "How did you know about the coin?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. "Oh, I've seen things," Edna said enigmatically, her eyes twinkling. "And I've heard stories too." Alex leaned in, his curiosity now fully piqued. "What kind of stories?" Edna's eyes grew distant, her voice a low murmur as she began to weave a tale of her own. Stories of lost souls finding their way home, of hope in the darkest of places, of love that could conquer the unthinkable. "This coin," she said, her eyes never leaving his, "it's been a silent witness to moments of profound significance." Alex was captivated, the warmth in Edna's voice resonating within him. The room grew smaller, the world outside the window fading away as she spoke. "You see, your great-grandfather wasn't just a man who carried his luck with him. He was a beacon, a source of light for others. And the coin," she paused, her grip tightening on the armrests of the chair. "It's like a piece of him, imbued with his spirit." Her eyes searched his face, looking for understanding. Alex nodded slowly, feeling the gravity of her words. The coin grew warmer in his hand, as if responding to her tale. "Whenever you feel lost," Edna continued, "reach for the coin. It'll guide you, show you the way." The silence that followed was filled with the quiet comfort of shared secrets. Alex could feel the coin's presence, a pulse of warmth against his skin. He took another sip of tea, feeling the warmth spread through his body, mingling with the comfort of Edna's words. "I'll keep that in mind," Alex said softly, placing the coin back in his pocket. The warmth remained, a constant reminder of the unspoken bond between them. Edna's stories of his great-grandfather's adventures filled his mind as the rain outside began to subside. He saw a reflection of his own life in the tales she spun, a mirror to the potential that lay dormant within him. Her words about the coin's whispers resonated, leaving him feeling less alone in his struggles. As they sat there, the silence grew companionable. The only sounds, the occasional sigh of the rain and the tick of an old grandfather clock in the corner. Alex felt a kinship with Edna, a bond that transcended their brief acquaintance. It was as if the coin had drawn them together for a reason. "Your mother," Edna said, breaking the quiet, "she must be proud of you." Alex chuckled, feeling a twinge of sadness. "I don't know. We don't always see eye to eye." Edna's gaze softened. "Ah, family," she said knowingly. "But the coin, it's a bridge, isn't it? It connects you to her, to him." Alex nodded thoughtfully, feeling the weight of the coin in his pocket. "I guess it does." Edna reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, leather-bound book, the edges worn and the pages yellowed with time. She handed it to him with trembling hands. "This belonged to your great-grandfather," she said, her voice filled with reverence. "It's a journal of sorts, filled with his thoughts and the stories of the coin's journey. It's been passed down to the women of our family, but I think it's time for it to go to you." Alex took the book, feeling the history in his grasp. He flipped through the pages, his eyes scanning the spidery script. Each page held a story of triumph, of moments when the coin had brought his great-grandfather comfort, or a stroke of luck when all else had failed. "Thank you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'll take good care of it." "I know you will," Edna said with a knowing smile. "And remember, the coin isn't just for keeping. It's for sharing the stories, for carrying on the legacy." Alex felt a warmth spread through him, a feeling that went beyond the physical. He knew that from this moment on, the silver coin would be more than just an heirloom. It would be a symbol of hope and strength that he could carry with him wherever he went. Thank you for your time. God bless.